Okay, I had a request to take a look at a stock, and I thought, just for fun, I'd go through it on the fly and record it, and see if that's helpful for anybody to see my process for, just kind of thinking through a stock for the first time. So I don't think I've looked at this one before, but let's pull it up and check it out. So it's PLMR. Taking a look at this one for Aaron, and yeah, what do we see first? So I take my magnet off, bring up my favorites bar, and I've got good history for this one. It's IPO in 2019. So first thing I do is take a anchored VWAP from the IPO and see if price is interested in that at all. I've broken out of it here in 24. I take another one from the all-time high. And when I take them from all-time high, I like to use red. I like to use purple from IPO, and I'll use green from a low. In this case, we've got a retest of the one from all-time high. I'm going to put a green one there. And so we've broken out of a base, and this is something that I really like to see. These tend to have a very consistent behavior. So once we break out of a base, you've got it's a hideous green. I get a little picky about how well formatted these things get. So once we've formed a base like this, we start to break above anchored VWAPs. We'll turn our magnet back on. I like to look for a momentum crossover to take our anchor our Fibonacci levels, and in this case, we'll pull it from here. So it's not a high, and it's best to go from a momentum crossover and not necessarily a high when we're looking for key levels. So there's two ways to forecast that I like to forecast. Potential opportunity, especially when you're coming out of a base like this. One of them is to take a measure from the bottom of the base to, what I think might be the breakout top of it. And again, I tend to not necessarily go with the very top of the base, like up here. I'm looking for an area where it might break out of it, and that's probably going to be about this area. Yeah, like that. And so what we'll see is, the full potential of a break from the base could be, a lot of times, you hear the phrase, the wider the base, the higher the space. And in this case, we're taking the height of the, from the bottom of the base to what we think will be a breakout from the top. And we're probably going to see like a measured movement up to the end of it. And when that aligns to a Fibonacci level like this, we'll probably see the full potential for a price move, come up in between these two. The magnet is still on, which is kind of a pain when you're doing a free form. So this will be like our target range potentially, and that's on a weekly view. Let's take a look at it on the daily, see how it's behaving. And it looks like we could have a case for a 5-wave pattern, especially when you see them come up. It's these AVWAPs from IPO tend to be a really strong draw for price, and you see resistance there. Then once you break through, price exhausts a little bit. This could be the completion of a 5-wave movement. That would be more of like an extended 5th wave, which is less likely. And maybe something like this with the 4th coming back down to this AVWAP. I don't know if, see, this is what happens when you anchor an AVWAP at a weekly level. It's picking an area that may not be important to price. And in this case, good areas to anchor to are the beginning of a gap, a retest of another important level, a prior high, all-time high. So this one's, scooched over a little bit. So what we've got is the AVWAP, the purple. You can see it's retested back here during the 2020 recession. We come up to a new all-time high. It comes down to test it. So you can see it's got some consistent draw to this level where it's finding support at one moment and then resistance at another. So reclaiming it with a gap up is actually a pretty strong move. So we've got gaps through it and through the one from all-time high. So that's why I like the anchor down here. And now you've got this second retest. One over there might be meaningful, but if this is truly like a 5-wave up, you might have further to go. You could get up to about here before like more of a corrective move. The bases tend to operate a lot like a cycle, and in this case we've got this base took about 1,000 days to 1,100 days to complete. So it's about 270 days. It would be a quarter of that. So if we were to do a harmonic, which would be like a quarter of the cycle length, then we would expect that somewhere out into this level would be its next move. So it's come up. It hasn't broken out of the base yet. It's got a 5-wave movement up, so we have to be open-minded to this being completion of the 5-wave move. I'm going to remove this measured width. We'll leave this one over here. So I'm going to say that this probably pulls back. And we'll take it from a momentum crossover. Probably this one that it gapped up through. Right up to the top of, what's currently the top of 5. So I would say a normal retest area would be right in here. Right at your 92.30, 92.23. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a retest in here. But if this is the completion of the movement, then we'd probably come into like an ABC where we see it come, down into your 382, back up to your 236, and then probably down to your 618, because that's right where the AVWAP from all-time high is trending towards. So when you see an AVWAP trending towards a key fib level, there's a good chance it's going to be drawn back there. And then what you see with these cycles, so you've got, remember we had this 1,080 day roughly cycle, and now you've got a quarter of that's 270. So you get like a cup and handle formation. So with these things, what you'll either see is a break above, retest, a new high, probably up to like this 168 area, and then at the end of this 270 days, you come back down and you test it again. Or you get a handle, and you come up to the top, it fails, you come back down, and then you retest it again, 1/4 of the frame later. And then once you do that, then you're probably looking at, to a move up to this upper range. And I would probably forecast that as like a, maybe like a move like this. You get above it, maybe to the 272, the 1.272 up here at 127, back down to try the base again, and then maybe up to 168. And it'll be a series of moves before it eventually fills and claims the full measured range of this base if it does. But that's probably a pretty decent path, and that gets you probably to like a second wave pullback around 2026. That's pretty far out there. But we'll see. We have to stay open-minded each. Could break above, do something interesting, but very likely it comes down below in a cup and handle formation, and then makes its move later on.